Welcome to Afterthoughts Podcast, a podcast where my co-host and I, Cole the Coleman Taylor Thomas, and I discuss our first and second impression of popular films along with a related topic. This week, our movie is Jurassic World. Beautiful. That was great.
Oh my gosh, that took so much breath. Jeez Louise.
It sounded beautiful. Welcome to the podcast, everyone.
It's ridiculous.
Jurassic World.
Jurassic
2015's highest grossing movie.
It's ridiculous. But whatever. People like what they already know.
I think I read that somewhere in researching this movie and topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. People like what they already sold on. So they don't have to buy into something new. You know, it's not a gamble if you can go into the movie theater and you already know what you're buying.
Right. Yep.
That's a bummer.
I know.
But then again, people demand original movies, but then when one comes out, like The Nice Guys, nobody goes and sees it, and it doesn't perform well at the box office.
I know. When we talk about our topic, I have a specific example that I watched last night, so...
Oh, shoot. Okay, well... Oh, I know what it is, because you told me.
I did tell you.
Ha. No spoilers. You're going to have to wait till the end of the episode, listeners. No skipping around.
Except for we're going to have tons of spoilers for Jurassic World, so I guess
spoilers.
Spoilers abound.
Spoilers for everything. Okay, well, let's talk about Jurassic Park and its many sequels. What do you think of Jurassic Park?
I jumped on the Jurassic Park bandwagon late, but it's obviously a good movie. I think most people agree that it's a great movie. It's really original. Dinosaurs are just cool. So, I mean, you can't, it's really hard to go wrong with it. I guess if you've seen Dinotopia, maybe you disagree, but yeah, Jurassic Park was really fun and exciting and new. And I really liked it. I even liked the sequels. I don't know. I guess it's because I saw them, even though I jumped on later, I still saw them when I was younger, and I didn't really, think about how much the plot didn't make sense or the acting was terrible or anything like that. I was just like, it's still dinosaurs, it's still cool. But the first one still lives up today.
Oh, yeah. The first one is, it holds up really well. You can still watch it, and it's amazing. I love that first movie a lot. And I saw it when I was a little kid, and so it's like one of the first big sort of really grand cinematic movies that I ever watched and enjoyed. You know, it really helped me appreciate movies in general. It's such a good, fun movie, and it looks so good. I mean, that's what helps it hold up. I think the dinosaurs still look amazing now. It's such a cool movie. I didn't like any of the sequels, though.
I loved Lost World when I was a kid, and I still like it just because I liked it when I was a kid. But yes, the first one now is clearly the superior movie.
Yeah. I mean, the second one is fun to watch because of Goldblum. It's fun to watch because it's kind of goofy and silly, and that girl does that gymnastics routine to fight the dinosaurs.
Right.
It's just kind of goofy. The third one is nothing.
I know, and with this one, it's kind of like what they set up at the end is just, we're gonna forget that happened and move on to a new story.
So, but I guess that sort of speaks to my expectation for Jurassic World the first time I saw it. I didn't think it would touch anywhere near the original. I wasn't ever expecting it to be as good or better. I just wanted it to be better than the sequels. I wanted this to be the best Jurassic Park sequel. So it's a low bar.
But there's also been so much time from it. I guess I expected this one could be better because there's been so much time from it, and it was kind of a new spin. The one thing I was so excited for is the park's finally open. It's not like, we're going to this abandoned island.
That's a good point. That is interesting.
So it's there's this new, I guess, gimmick for it that the park's actually open this time. So I wonder what they can do with that.
That'd be kind of like if we ever finally got a Terminator movie that was set in the future. Except I guess that's what 4 was.
Yeah, that's kind of what 4 was.
And it was kind of bummy, but... Yeah, I mean, that's what I've always wanted out of a Terminator sequel is let's finally go there, but
Yeah.
That's interesting. So that's what this movie was. I never even thought of that, really. That's a good point.
Yeah.
So what did you think of Jurassic World your first time?
So the first time, my first two notes are that it was fun. It was a fun movie. Again, I guess it's kind of just the dinosaurs and the fact that it had been so long. It was nice to see a new Jurassic Park movie, and it was just fun overall. And it was cool to see the park was open. That was my second note. I know I already said that, but I just thought that was cool that they finally opened the park and we were able to see like tourists there. It's finally what the park was actually supposed to be, but like what's going to happen? Obviously a dinosaur's going to escape. So what's going to go wrong?
I thought it was fun as well. I think that's my big takeaway. It was a really fun movie, and I like enjoyed it all the way through. I mean, I really like Chris Pratt. I love Parks and Rec, but even like I knew Chris Pratt from Everwood, and then he was in Wanted. So he's like a really charismatic performer, and I think even though his character is not I don't think he's like super well written. I think he makes that character work really well.
Yeah.
And so he was like he was sort of the driving force through the whole movie that kept me interested. And I mean, I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. I also wrote down that Chris Pratt was great. I thought he did really well the first time I saw it, but I also wrote the characters were dumb. I thought that from the first viewing. I didn't focus on it too much because I was just enjoying the movie the first time, kind of watching what was unfolding before me, wanting to know what's happened next. So I was like, these characters are dumb, but I'm not going to like sit and dissect why they're dumb or think about why they're dumb because I know I'm not supposed to. I'm just going to watch how this movie unfolds.
I read so many articles that were like, Jurassic World, don't tell me to turn my brain off. I don't want to turn my brain off.
I know.
But that's interesting. I wrote that down in my notes. Like, I remember so many people using the word dumb to describe this movie. And I guess I wasn't willing or like aware enough to care about anything about the movie that would be considered dumb. Because I just was like, yeah, this is going to be, I know what this is. It's going to be like a fun, just adventure. And it's not trying to be anything more than that. So it's fine. We'll just sit back and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. I mean, I know they weren't trying for anything more than that, but especially on my second viewing where I've already seen the movie, it was just like, there are so many parts where these people make, like, they're running a park with dinosaurs and they're making the dumbest decisions. But we can save that. For the first viewing, I was just like, these people are dumb, but I'll go with the movie because I already paid to watch it and I'm just going to watch it.
The first time you saw it, did you like how there's sort of a lot of the movie sort of pays homage to the original, like even in like really heavy-handed ways, like Jake Johnson's like old vintage Jurassic Park shirt. Did you like any of that stuff?
Yeah, but it was also just kind of there. The only really parts are that shirt, and then when they go back to the facility later in the movie. But it was just kind of meh. Like it was cool that they did it, but I didn't really care one way or the other. Because it wasn't in the movie that much, I didn't think. Just those, like, two parts, really. Mm-hmm.
And even, like, the score, like, so it's John Williams, his classic theme is in the movie, but Michael Giacchino is the new composer for this movie. So I even felt like using the old theme, I mean, you have to. There's no question about it. But to hear it again, I think that plus, like, the shirt and the cars and stuff. I liked all that stuff, but I guess you're right. They didn't really use it very well, aside from the score, which was well used anytime you heard it.
Yeah, anytime you use that score, it's going to be great.
Perfect. I'd watch anything to that score.
Considering we just used it and might get sued, so...
Exactly. It's perfect.
Please don't sue us.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, this intro is so much better than all the other ones. Can't go wrong.
I know.
Okay. This is something I didn't notice until my second impression, but I remember people talking about it, like, back when I first watched it, and I just didn't think of it. Do you think that the movie was, like, overly commercial?
No, but that's because I'm usually just oblivious to those things. For some reason, I never pick up on that. The one time in the second impression that I really saw it was when Chris Pratt, like, drank a Coca-Cola bottle. But that was really it. I mean, I guess they did
I didn't notice that one.
it's when he's like fixing his motorcycle, but
Okay.
it's like it looks just like a Coca-Cola commercial.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they do name drop a little bit, but the point is kind of that they're angry with these commercialized things, but then they're also name dropping them in the movie. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention. I don't usually pay attention to that either. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just never really catch that, I guess. So no, I didn't really notice.
The only time I did was in my second impression, and some of the scenes where Bryce Dallas Howard is driving back and forth across the park, those scenes really look like car commercials. Like the way that the cars like come up and park, the way that they take off and then driving down the road, it's like they look exactly like car ads. And I really like had no idea about it the first time I watched it, but when you're watching it a second time, it stuck out to me. But I still, it's like, I don't know if that ever really bothers me. It's kind of funny, and if it's in a good movie and it sort of takes you out of the experience, that's when it's bad. But, you know, this whole movie was just kind of like, whatever.
Yeah. I would default to not using it, but at the same time, for me specifically, since I don't really notice it anyways, no, it's whatever.
Yeah. I think at this point, there have been too many examples of like using it in a clever way. So if you just kind of try to like pretend like we're all just going to ignore it and just like slip it in, I don't think that ever really works. I mean, you might not notice it, but if you do, then it hurts you. But if you can use it in like a funny, clever way, then go for it, I guess. And
then my last two main points are, this kind of goes along with the characters being dumb, but more of just the plot. It's like, why hide what is in the dinosaurs? Why? Yeah. What's the point of that?
Good question.
But that's kind of where I left it. But then there was kind of like specific moments in the movie, and my second impression was like, wow, it really, really doesn't make sense. But
yeah, there's no competing dinosaur park down the road that you're hiding your secrets from. It's not a secret sauce, so you can tell the world what's in the dinosaur. If anything, it would bring more people to it. Like, oh, this got tree frog and fish and all this crazy stuff in this dinosaur. I want to go check it out. Like, keeping it a secret, I guess, might do the same thing. But for the sake of security, once there was a security risk, do not hold back that information anymore. Tell everyone what's in it.
Right. And I mean, I don't know. I guess it's supposed to be playing off the first one where he was trying to steal dinosaur DNA, but if you can't trust your higher up corporate people, I just don't understand why you hired them anyways.
Yeah.
And then my last point was that I thought it was not as good as the first, but not too bad either the first time I saw it.
Yeah, I walked away from my first impression of the movie thinking that was fun, and I didn't have too many complaints about it. I was like, yeah, I had a great time at the movies. Thank you, Jurassic World.
Yeah. Thank you, Jurassic World.
Okay, so second impressions?
Now let's go second impression.
All right. Did it hold up?
What do you think? Did it hold up?
No.
Perfect.
I mean, it's not a terrible movie. I think anything we're about to say right now, I still don't think it's terrible, but it's not like, I mean, once you watch it a second time, that initial fun is it's definitely, it's not gone, but it's not as fun as it was before. So what you're left with is the actual story and characters that aren't super compelling.
Oh, you resonate me exactly. My first point is not as fun. Because once you watch it and that fun factor's gone for the second time, you just sit there and dissect all the things that are wrong with this movie.
Yep. But, and you're not watching it in a giant theater and a big screen with big speakers. It's like we're watching it at home, and it loses a bit of its cinematic feel, which is like, I think you can be cinematic without having to watch it in a theater, but that has to be with your characters, your story, and all that stuff. And this just sort of loses its cinematic appeal because that stuff isn't there.
Mm-hmm. So other points I had were I didn't think Chris Pratt was as good as I remember. I mean, he still performed well. He always performs well. But I think out of all of his performances, it's probably the lowest. Maybe because of the writing. I think he most likely portrayed what he was supposed to portray well. But I don't know. He kind of just seems rigid the whole time. And I just didn't remember him like that for some reason. And the second time I was like, he's kind of just there saying all these macho kind of things.
Yeah.
That didn't really fit.
I would say that was probably the writing, because he plays the role of like the Jeff Bloom character, but he's not Jeff Goldblum. Get Jeff Bloom, excuse me, Jeff Goldblum. He plays that role, but he's kind of like Goldblum light.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's just not enough to him. There's not enough to any of these characters. But he's the one that, like, the second time around, he's the only one that I was like, you're on screen. Good. At least you're here.
Yeah. It's true.
Because the kids were so annoying.
Oh, I know.
Come on. Like, they're going to anchor, like, a good chunk of this movie. They should have been likable kids. Like, well, okay, let me ask you, what is the point of the older brother having a girlfriend and then going to the park and staring at all the other girls? Like, what is that supposed to... I don't understand what that through line is. Like, what is the point of that?
I don't know.
It's just weird and awkward.
It's supposed to add to who he is as a character, but I don't know.
Jerk?
Not really. Yes.
A creepy jerk? Hey,
I mean,
you know how we're supposed to make characters likable? What if this guy was like a creepy jerk? I think that would work really well for this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess they were trying to go with the fact that he's not really committed to his girlfriend, because even in the first scene, she's like, I love you, and he's like, I can't remember what he says, but it's like, I'll see you later or something, and like walks off.
And I think that's a fine place to start if the girlfriend's in the movie. Like, if at some point he has to develop and change to a person that is committed to someone. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At no point does he like decide he's committed to something else. Except, I guess you could argue that he becomes committed to his brother.
Yeah,
but I don't know. That's not strong enough to make that worth it. Yeah. Those really awkward scenes.
I know.
Except, I guess at one point the little brother points it out, and that's kind of a funny moment. But
yeah,
still, I don't know if it's worth it.
You're right.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess the little brother's not bad, but it's mainly the older brother. Mm-hmm. No, thank you.
So, for the second time, did you notice how dumb the character were? Because I just wrote down characters were so dumb.
I guess, like, what I noticed is that there's nothing compelling or interesting about any of them. Like, so many moments in the movie are, like, emotionless because, like, none of the characters ever decide to do anything. And I think you need that in a story. I think they're just so reactionary. And it's like... yeah, there's nothing to hold on to. There's nothing to root for. Like, I don't know what these characters want outside of just containing this incident. And I think for too much of the movie, they're just like running back and forth. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to go here, we have to go there, we have to find the kids. Oh, we missed them. Like, it's just too much of... you need to give your characters something important to do. Otherwise, it just kind of feels aimless.
Yeah.
So I still don't know if I would categorize them as dumb. Do you think they were dumb?
Yes, I think almost every decision in the movie was impulsive and, yes, dumb. For example, when they think the dinosaur escaped, why is she driving immediately to headquarters instead of just calling them right then and there at that spot?
Good point.
And then why do they immediately go into the dinosaur cage? It's been like 5 minutes since they thought she was gone. Why would you just go into it? That literally is why the dinosaur escapes. Because, like, that is another thing I hated, because that makes Chris Pratt look so dumb. Why did you go in there and let the dinosaur escape? This is your fault. And then you're trying to take charge for the rest of the movie? Oh, that just really bothered me. And then almost every decision after that. Oh, our most dangerous dinosaur has escaped. And now we're going to send people against him. Oh, they just all died, which was already a dumb decision. We're still not going to close the park, though. We're still going to try and contain this. Oh, the people who were running this park seemed so stupid. And I very much didn't like it.
That's a good point. The things that stuck out to me as dumb were like, she calls the kids and then they get cut off and then she like doesn't text them. Why wouldn't you just text them? You know, simple. And then another thing was like, what's his name? I can't remember the character's name. The big guy who wants to use the dinosaurs is in the army or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know his name either. I did write down a point
like
though,
Hodgkins
and I called
or
him
something.
Yeah, I called him that guy. So you're fine.
That guy. So when that guy decides that like he was really dumb. I think he was the dumbest character. Like. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to suggest that you could ever control these animals or these dinosaurs. Like, and the fact that he's like so confident that you can is really dumb.
Yeah.
And there's so many points in the movie where it's like, no, that's such a dumb idea. This is never going to work.
Yeah, I wrote down the point, why does using raptors as a weapon obsess that guy? That's what I wrote down, because it just doesn't make sense. Even if you could control them, which, like you said, it doesn't seem like you could at any point in that movie. Even there's most times where they're trying to turn around against Chris Pratt's character. Mm-hmm. But even more than that, would they actually do that much damage? Like raptors? I mean, I guess they could, but I don't know. I'm sure guns could probably stop them pretty easy, or a bomb, anything. I just don't see how dinosaurs would be the most effective new weapon we could find.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like, I guess this speaks to like how the movie's just not very sophisticated at all. And so like when you introduce that character, he's a bad guy right out of the gate. There's no question about it. He's not great. He's black or white. And they have this whole conversation about wanting to control them, wanting to use them. And then immediately when that conversation's over, there's an incident that demonstrates how you cannot control the animals. Even though Chris Pratt has like a good trust relationship with them, ultimately he can't control them. And it happens immediately after that conversation.
I know.
So yeah, it just the whole thing was like, that's one of the first scenes too. So it's like it sets the tone. Like this is the kind of movie it's gonna be, guys. Yeah. We're not swinging for the fences. We're just gonna have fun playing ball. So
yeah, because that goes into another point that I thought a lot of the characters either said things or made decisions that didn't go along with what they were originally set up as. Two examples I have are the little kid. Throughout the whole movie, he's supposed to be set up as like this genius. He knows, like even his brother says at one point, aren't you supposed to be some kind of genius? And he's always saying these things. But then at one point he asks, he's like, how big is the island? And then his brother's like, what do you mean? He's like, how many pounds? And he's like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah. It's like, if he's a genius, why is he asking how many pounds is the island? He seems too old for that question anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
And then the second point, the like owner of the island makes a very specific point when they're flying in the helicopter, like, how's my park doing? And she starts like reading off numbers, and he's like, no, how's it doing? The people, the dinosaurs, da da da. And then later, when the dinosaur is running around and running towards the people, he's like, oh, don't try and kill it. There's 36 million in it. It's like, do you care about the money or do you care about the people? Which one? It really bothered me.
Yeah, he's kind of all over the map. That's a good point. I feel like that's sort of. Yeah, that's a lot of the movie is kind of like these strings of ideas that don't really get connected very well, or they don't get explored very well. Like in the original movie, there are lots of really interesting ideas and themes, and characters have true desires and motives that fuel the rest of the movie. But this is kind of like they pop up sporadically and they don't connect. Like I really, really like the idea that there's a moment where Chris Pratt is talking to that guy and he's like, well, maybe progress should lose for once. Mm-hmm. Like I like that idea a lot because I think that it's similar to the original movie in that, we shouldn't try to control nature. So this is like, well, maybe progress should lose for once, but that doesn't even really apply to any of the rest of the movie. Yeah. It just becomes this action movie and the character motivations are like useless in the third act of this movie. Like nothing happens in regards to like them as characters and them developing. Yeah. The thing that happens is that they all get closer, but that feels so forced. Like every character gets close to every other character, and it's like, what happened that made you this close? You like ran around and got sweaty together. Like no one ever does anything for anyone else. Like there's nothing that that warrants that connection at the end of the movie.
Yeah. and and also to go back with my first impression of why hide what is in the dinosaurs, when that part climaxes, there's a point where they finally figure out the big dinosaur is part raptor, and Chris Pratt stands up and says, I know why they didn't tell us what's in that dinosaur. It's because he's part raptor. And it's like, what does that matter? Why wouldn't they tell you it's part raptor? Why is that such a secret? Because just in case you release raptors against it, they might turn on you. Seems like they should tell you. I don't understand why they didn't. Or why that's a reason they wouldn't.
Did that ever surprise you, by the way? Like in first or second impression, were you ever surprised that there's part raptor in it?
I guess because I didn't really, in my first impression, I didn't really think about what's in it. I didn't care. They're just throwing things. It has everything in it, so what's it matter?
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, it's not like this big reveal. It's not like an important part of the movie. It's just kind of like this weird, again, it's like this clunky, like, yeah, let's throw that in. Let's throw like a weird, like, mystery that we'll reveal halfway through. Like, he's part raptor, cool. It doesn't feel like a good part of this movie. Like, it's not a thing that we built to in a satisfying way for that payoff. You know, that payoff is like, it's like you said, it's like, well, who cares? A lot of things are in this dinosaur.
Right. And like, out of all those things in it, I don't understand why hiding that it's a raptor is so crucial. Like, what purpose would that serve? Don't tell it's a raptor. Just don't. That's our biggest secret. I don't know.
How did you feel about like there's sort of like in the original movie there are lots of moments where obviously the main characters are hiding from dinosaurs or they're fighting dinosaurs, they're trying to get away from them. So there's lots of moments like that in this movie, but how did you feel about those scenes? Like, how did you feel about people interacting with dinosaurs?
I don't know. I guess I didn't think about it that much because I don't think you're supposed to. Because if you really think about it, I don't know if those raptors would ever listen to Chris Pratt. I don't know. Especially at the end, do they really have this special bond between him and Blue? That's nice for movies, but I don't know. I kind of let that be just like what it is. I don't think that could ever really happen like that, but it's for the sake of the movie. I'll just let that go. And for the rest, like where they're fighting at the end and the people are running around, I feel like that's just we're kind of still following their point of view, so they just have to be there. So we're like watching this dinosaur fight unfold because the people are there, rather than just having dinosaurs there.
I was disappointed in the second viewing with how the humans interact with dinosaurs, because I feel like in the first movie there's a lot of like really tense moments where people are hiding from dinosaurs, where they're like trying to outsmart these really intelligent creatures, and all those moments are really, really tense and exciting. But all these moments happen so fast. Like the movie is so fast paced that there's never time for any tension to build. It's just like this happens, this happens, this happens, and it's a bummer. Like I wanted to feel like tense, like are they gonna escape? Are they gonna make it? But in this movie, it's like they're gonna make it. We're gonna go on to the next thing because it's just gonna build, and it's really disappointing.
Yeah, I guess that just goes along with what kind of movie this is, though, because the first one, like we mentioned, it is just a small group of people. So it's not the entire park running around and dinosaurs everywhere. It's small groups of people running, like trying to hide from a few dinosaurs. So this one just kind of felt grander. So it would be harder to put that movie or that kind of tense feeling somewhere. And I guess you could, though, maybe at one point, just like one or two. But I can't see the whole movie being like that because most of the movie is the park.
I think it's just like there's a couple moments where I think you really could have done it well, like when the kids are in that glass ball and they first encounter the abominable Rex, whatever it's called. And that could have been a really scary, intense moment, but it happens really fast. It breaks the glass with its thing or its claw or whatever, and it just like it happens really quickly. And then a second later in the movie, when Chris Pratt and Bryce find the car right after the kids leave, and they have to hide from the dinosaurs, like. That could have been another really tense moment. And there's even a moment in that scene where you think the dinosaur's gone, he reaches around and grabs the gun successfully, doesn't make a noise, comes back around, and then the dinosaur rips the roof off. That could have been really tense. He could have grabbed the gun and then made a noise, and then the dinosaur comes back. I mean, that's cliche, but something to that effect to make those moments more intense. It's like I feel like there were pockets like that where you could have done it. It didn't have to be... I mean, if that's all they did, then it would have just been rehashed. But I feel like there were moments where you could have done it a little bit. Yeah,
like the part right after the dinosaur escapes and Chris Pratt puts oil all over himself.
Yeah, small moments like that definitely could have been enhanced to make us more terrified of these monsters. Like by the end of it, I'm not that afraid of them. It's kind of just fun to see them tearing through stuff, but I'm not afraid of them.
Right. Yeah.
Also, I really, really wish that there was more of a visual difference between the abominable Rex and the T-Rex. They look exactly the same. I mean, there's a little difference, but come on. Like, I don't know, like you were inventing a dinosaur, right? I mean, you were completely inventing a whole new dinosaur. Why not let your imagination run a little wilder and make it something crazy looking?
I mean, its arms are longer.
Still like a dinosaur. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
They haven't reached for something the Rex can't do.
I know. Yeah. No, I agree. Especially in that fight scene. It was sometimes hard to tell which was which.
Okay, so you said less fun, but did you have any fun watching it the second time?
I guess. I mean, Yeah, it's not. No, not really. I mean, right in the middle. It's still fun that the park's open, but no. I mean, I know everything that's going to happen, so the fun factor's kind of just gone, I guess. Because if the movie was better, I'm sure I still would have had fun. But the fact that I already know what's going to happen and we're just able to see the glaring flaws of this movie kind of just detracted from the fun that was had the first time I saw the movie.
That's funny. So it just completely fell apart for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I would agree. I think that man, I really had no big issues with the movie prior to rewatching it. I just look back on it like a fun movie, but then rewatching it definitely highlights the issues with this movie. And I really didn't think that I had very much fun. But then at the end of the movie, I asked myself, well, would I watch a second one? And I said, absolutely. It doesn't matter what it is. I will watch this sequel.
Oh, we are the worst.
Which is the problem.
We are the worst kind of people. Oh, gosh.
Why? Because you would watch it also?
I'm pretty sure I would. And that's
exactly.
Terrible. But now that we bring that up, I'm going to boycott it.
Good luck.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah, we're part of the problem, but I don't care. And I want to watch fun dinosaur movies, and hopefully they'll get it right.
Maybe on the 7th or 8th one, they'll get it right again.
Yeah. Jurassic Planet. Oh. They're great.
Oh, God. Please, no.
Except that's exactly what's going to happen, right? Because at the end of this movie, or not at the end, but at some point, B.D. Wong, the scientist or whatever, doesn't he get off the island with the samples?
Who? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to happen. They're definitely going to take these off island.
But it's still InGen, right?
I guess.
Yeah. Also, another thing, because they're on the same island that the first movie took place in, right? Because we see the facility, we see all the stuff from the first one.
Yeah, but you shouldn't see them, right? Surely that stuff would have been cleaned up. That's one small complaint. None of that stuff would exist. Well, anyways.
I wasn't going to say just that. I was going to say, how did they clean it up? There were dinosaurs running amok on that island everywhere.
Oh, good
point. How did
point.
they possibly clean all... I just don't... unless you killed all your dinosaurs and started from scratch.
Did they... Was it 20 years later? Are they really ignoring the other sequels?
I guess.
And they just had 20 years to clean it up?
Yeah. I know some of the other sequels were on different islands, though, right?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a murky franchise.
Yeah. But I was just like, how do you clean this island up and then build new stuff when... I'm sure the dinosaur, they noticed they were reproducing and stuff. I'm sure they just took over that whole island. Mm-hmm. But whatever. All for the sake of the movie, right?
Yep. All right, I think I'm tapped out.
Yeah, me too.
So, on to our topic.
Yeah, let's do it.
The popcorn movie genre. We're going to talk about the movies that ask you to turn your brain off. And how do you feel about movies like that?
I don't know. I'm kind of liking them less and less nowadays. I guess I'm a little biased right now just because of what I saw last night, which was Kubo and the Two Strings, which was wonderful. Whoa! It was so good. I don't know. It just because people just want so much originality and uniqueness and say that all the time, but then the movie monsters that do great in the box office are the ones that are sequels or remakes or based off something else. While Kubo and the Two Strings was so original, it was claymation, which stands out from all the CGI 3D generated animated movies we have. And so it was just awesome to go see, but then it did so terrible in the box office, which just shows that we don't really want originality no matter what we say.
No, we want to have fun at the movies.
Yep.
And I think we've gotten to a point where it's we want to have fun, and that's priority number one. Priority number two is we want the movies to be good. Yeah. But it's that order.
Right.
Which is a bummer, but it's the money talks, I guess, which is such a bummer.
Which is so sad because Kubo and the Two Strings is a lot of fun. It's a really fun movie. It's just so different.
But is Chris Pratt in it, or are there dinosaurs in it?
Matthew McConaughey, Professor McConaughey is in it. Okay.
Shoot, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Gotta go check that out.
And
shoot,
it's got a lot of people though. It's got Rooney Mara and Ralph Fiennes. How do you? I think it's Fiennes.
Voldemort.
I think it's Voldemort.
Well, I looked up. I googled popcorn movie, and I have the definition from Urban Dictionary.
Do it.
And I thought it was pretty funny. A summer action flick, not monumental, a good waste of time. I thought that was really interesting. And I thought it was super interesting that it has action in the definition. Like, are popcorn movies exclusively action? And I feel like, for the most part, they probably are.
Yeah. But I still wonder, because they still bring in, so you make the popcorn movies and bring in huge audiences and make a ton of revenue for the studios, and then those studios can turn around and make original movies with the revenue that came in from the big films. Mm-hmm. I think I've said that before, but I still don't know how I feel about that. Wouldn't we rather just, like, I guess you can't, like, people are going to like what they like, but I wish we just liked original things. They didn't have to get their money from these big, huge blockbusters that are focused on action and just having fun rather than being a good movie and being fun. I still like fun movies. I do want my movie to be fun, but I don't know. I would much rather see Kubo and the Two Strings over Jurassic World.
Okay, well, let's talk about our dream world, like our perfect world of movies, because we talked about last week. We talked about how we really do like franchises a lot. So let's talk about like what's the dream scenario, like to have really great franchises, to have really great original movies, and I guess if we're talking perfect world, every movie is great. And there are original movies and there are franchises, and they're both great movies, and they can all be successful and coexist. Is that? But I don't know. I guess, what am I trying to ask? If we do like enjoy franchises, then what's the problem with big popcorn movies when they're not good?
I guess that it's just that popcorn movies are enjoyed more, I guess. Just the fact that we do just want to dumb our minds down and just watch a movie rather than someone come up with like some really original creative idea, I guess.
I think the problem lies with the idea that, I mean, we said it already, but it's just like that the bottom line is to both make a ton of money and to have these movies be fun more than anything else, like enjoyable more than anything else. They're not complex, and they're not challenging. You know, the audience is never challenged in these big movies. They're just there to enjoy the ride. So I think they don't have to be complex, but if the bottom line is like we just have to make these really fun movies that appeal to everyone, then that's when we get these generic blockbuster movies that ask you to turn your brain off, because that's the goal, is to just make a fun movie. So I think that's the error. Like, there is nothing wrong with making big action movies, as long as like the goal is to make a good movie, because a good movie is gonna generate a lot of revenue, like, well, theoretically.
Theoretically. I'm pretty sure Suicide Squad got a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Okay, well, what's an example of like a great movie that did make a ton of money? That was like a crazy action movie, like The Avengers. Great movie, action movie, made a ton of money.
It's still a popcorn
because
movie.
I don't think, still a popcorn movie, but I don't think the goal of The Avengers was to just make a fun movie that's like action packed. There's a lot of heart and there's a lot of characters in it, but I think it's because Marvel had a lot riding on it. It was like their entire franchise, their entire studio was riding on the success of that movie. So the goal couldn't have been just to make like a fun popcorn movie. They had to actually make it good. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here, 8 or 9 movies later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we've mentioned this before, but I do think it just helps a lot that Marvel, who created these characters, still has their hands on the characters that are in that movie.
Yeah, so there's care there.
Mm-hmm. I think that definitely helps.
I don't know. Did it feel like Universal cared about Jurassic World? Like these characters, like that's the thing. Like none of the characters are even. All the characters are new to Jurassic World. We don't have any returning characters, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, maybe you couldn't get them or something, but yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't bode well for the idea of like there being a sense of thought to or care for this franchise.
Yeah, I think they probably just wanted to start over, kind of new, just get away from the other two sequels, and this is a new idea. Park's open this time, which is different from all other three. We're just gonna get all new characters and try and like bring back to life what was there years ago.
I think, if I remember correctly, Kathleen Kennedy, a producer for The Force Awakens, used to produce the Jurassic World or Jurassic Park movies. So I wonder if she still was on Jurassic World, if she would have done sort of like a Force Awakens, Jurassic World kind of thing, like passing the torch. Because I think that would have, like, if this movie was the same, but you just incorporated Jeff Goldblum or any of the other characters, I would have liked it a lot better. Because it's like the reason the reason I like franchises is because I like seeing old characters come back and continue to grow and develop. So if you had that in this movie, I would have liked it even more. Or liked it.
Or liked it. Yeah. It seems like it's just the trend. Popcorn movies are forever the champions.
What a sad topic. Sorry, guys.
It's all right.
Watch the good movies. Don't spend your money on the bad movies.
Except for we just said we would. We would totally go see the bad movies some more.
Yeah, because it is. I mean, it is. It's fun to watch. Not dumb movies, but movies that are real, like movies that are fun enough to not care that they're dumb the first time you watch them.
Mm-hmm. Oh well.
I'm disappointed in us.
Yeah. We'll just try harder in some way.
All right. You have anything else?
No. Go see Kubo and the Two Strings. That one's great. That's a real pick-me-up.
I want to see it. Yeah, I should go see it. Hey, don't go see Don't Think Twice. That's my little independent plug. That movie is fantastic and very funny. It's got a ton of heart. It's a really, really thoughtful movie with great characters. And it's really, really funny. It's a good comedy. It's great. Go see it. Go see that. Go see Kubo. Like, go support independent film.
Support independent films.
Not just independent film, I guess, but just go support good movies. Let the money show that we want good movies. I guess that's kind of what happened this summer. Like, the summer of 2016 was like a good summer for like big, terrible movies to fail. Like, even though movies that made a ton of money, like, still didn't make enough money for the studios wanted or projected. Like, I think people this summer were like, we are not going to see terrible movies the second weekend. Because that's when they all second weekend off. So maybe we're on the right path. Like, maybe like the box offices are starting to trend towards the money's going to go where the good movies are at.
Maybe.
We'll see. Because this wasn't. I still don't think Jurassic World was terrible. It's not as bad as Suicide Squad.
Right.
It's still watchable.
That's not saying much. You shouldn't go watch a movie because it's watchable. Especially in theaters. Maybe if you haven't seen it and you like the original and it's out on, you can go rent it at Redbox. Then you could if you really wanted to. Yeah. But don't go see it at the theaters. like we did because we're hypocrites.
Do as we say, not as we do.
Exactly. Good parenting tips.
Yeah. Okay. So listeners, feel free to tweet at us. Let us know. Let us know if you'd rather see like a great sequel or a great original movie. Like, which do you prefer? And try to be honest. Like, would you really rather see a fantastic sequel to one of your favorite movies or a completely original movie that's very, very good? Feel free to let us know. I'm at Joshua Kazemi. Coleman is on Twitter, kind of.
Kind of, at Cole Tailored. It exists. I just don't do anything with it. We'll see if that ever changes. Also, tweet what you think about Jurassic World or Jurassic Park. Any of the Jurassics. What do you think about the Jurassic World? Was it good as good as the first one? Do you really like sequels, or do you think it falls short just like we do? I want to know.
And if you're feeling like you want to do some extra credit, tweet at us, what's your favorite dinosaur? I want to know.
Do you think dinosaurs are real? I want to know, you know? Did they ever exist? Who knows?
Tweet at us.
Tweet at us.
And just a heads up, I feel like we should start doing this each week so people know. Next week, we will be watching The Blair Witch Project to coincide with the release of the new Blair Witch movie. So you can watch that this week and get prepared to listen to it with us next week. So there's that. And thank you for listening. If you want to support the podcast, the best way to do that right now is to give us a review on iTunes and give us ratings on iTunes and share it. Share it with a friend, like the person that you're thinking of right now. Share it with that person. Even if they're like already subscribed, just do it anyway. Share it with somebody you think would be interested in our podcast, and that's a great way to support us. Please do that. It'd be great if you did. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks. See y'all.
See ya.